Before we begin, thank you very much to Aaron O for joining my Patreon campaign. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you everyone for the support. We've got a week to go. It looks like we might be doing it. Oh my god. So I've been super busy. I don't want to say why because I don't want to worry anybody. Everything's fine. Everything will be fine. But right now, just my time is not mine to use. Let's put it that way. So I'm trying to get in. I'm lucky I can keep the daily videos going, let alone produce the episodes for Beast Wars. But I do want to get that done this weekend. I want to do all the filming for it this weekend, and then like I'll just roll the whole thing out next week, and we can move straight into Beast Machines next. As soon as we begin the next month. So that's the plan. Plans have not gone well, but you guys have supported me this much. You unlocked the goal. You earned it. So I will be doing it. All right. Now, speaking of this weekend, I have a very rare day off. So if you don't know, the shop here runs Thursday through Sunday because most little hole-in-the-wall toy shops like this operate on very odd schedules. I remember one out in the Fort Lauderdale area when I was visiting. I was trying to hit every shop around there I could, and one of them closed at like 3 in the afternoon on like a Friday. So I'm like literally like just kind of like, and it, like we stopped there anyway because we didn't realize they closed that early. And the sign on their door, like literally every day was a different closing time, and then like some days they were open at different times too. You could very much tell it was a shop that someone was running in their off time, or they just went and just whatever schedule is convenient for them. Hey, I've got D&D at 4 o'clock on Friday, so I need to clock out at 3. That kind of thing. So whatever it was, like shops like this tend to keep odd hours. So usually I'm manning the fort on a Saturday, but actually rolling right into that, me and some friends are going to be visiting the Fort Lauderdale area for a birthday. So while we're out there, fun, merriment, a lot of toy shopping because it's me. But that does raise a bunch of things. So a toy shop like this very much kind of takes on the personality of the person running it. I would feel like a lot of this in the store, it's not my store. I don't own it, but I pretty much have carte blanche to do whatever I want with it. So different sections are laid out the way I think makes sense. Like they are in the order I think makes sense. Very little is the same from when the store first opened. I think just like the back corner, the Star Wars section, I think that's literally like the only thing where it's mostly the same. Everything else has shifted around a lot over the last 2 years. But it does kind of mean that this place kind of becomes something of my own, like I've got obviously my recording setup here. I have my own toys here, so like here's a 5 Robo that I got, and that the same customer who sold us all those Sentai Robos, yeah, he sold me this one directly because there's a lot wrong with it, needs some repairs. But yeah, I have a 5 Robo. So like, just like someone has like little trinkets and pictures on their cubicle or whatever. This little space in front of me here that you can't see since the camera is in the middle of it is a lot of me. And then there's a lot of me strewn about here. So we have things on the wall that are just purely for decoration that are out of my collection. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh disc on the wall, a dual disc that literally everyone asks, how much is that? Nope. If I took it down, you wouldn't want it because it's been in a very smoke-filled environment that was out of my control at the time. Otherwise, it never would have been. But that is up there purely for display. I have a Bumblebee helmet for display. I have I have He-Man and She-Ra swords on the wall. I have an AEW championship belt. And none of it's for sale. And that's usually fine. Except when I'm going away on my normal work days. When that happens, someone else has to take over, and usually it's the boss, or in some cases, in rare case, it's the boss's wife. In this case, it's going to be the boss's wife who mans the shop for Saturday. It's a little bit hope for the best, but what it means is that there's a lot of things that have to be in place. Number one, it's got to be clean. I don't want to get railed when I get back because the place was dirty, because there were like water bottles laid all over because I hydrate all day. I don't want to get the reprimand. If the floor is messy or anything. So all this has to be cleaned up and organized before I do anything, before I even think about leaving. So, and that's just like in a I don't want to get in trouble sense. There are, of course, a lot of other things that we have to account for. I have to make sure everything is priced out. We just had over 200 Funko Pops sold to us. And I've literally spent the last 3 days pricing it all out, finding places for it in our shelves. I've literally had to rearrange half of the shelving for our Funko section to fit all of these new ones. So I had to make sure that was completely done, and this counter was as clear as I could get it before I left, to make sure that the boss lady does not have anything to worry about that is not just simply handling the register and talking to the customers. Trying to make it as easy as possible. Not only as a courtesy, but also I don't want to get killed when I come back. So that had to be squared away. Everything had to be neat and tidy around the shop. All the things had to be in the right spots and all that. So we've already settled that. The back room she's particular about. So all the back room has to be cleaned up and organized. And I just finished with that. The concerns here is it's a toy shop, and I keep toys around that aren't for sale. So I either need a big list in bright red letters, do not sell this thing, or, and this is probably what's going to happen once I shut off this camera, I'm going to fill up a box full of my stuff, and I'm going to take it home, and it's never going to see and then probably just live in my car for 48 hours until I can come back and put everything where I like it again. So that's going to happen. So I have to make sure I remember everything. Anything that is remotely a toy that I do not want being sold has to go with me, at least temporarily, just to make sure it's still, just to make sure it doesn't leave at some point on Saturday. That's already one worry enough. That's already, that's on my own personal thing. The bigger problem is I am a YouTuber as well. So not only do I have to make sure all of the toys that are mine are packed up and safe and not going to sell by accident, I also have to make sure all the rest of the stuff is cleaned up. Like at any point in here, I am surrounded by equipment. So I've got my lights over here from when I'm filming reviews. I've got different cameras here. I've got the light that's currently on right now. I've got my laptop and my mic and this camera. It's going to be a lot just to make sure none of my stuff gets damaged, because this is my livelihood. You guys went from paying for my hobby to paying my bills, whether you're on Patreon or whether you just let the ads play, which also thank you to everyone who turns your ad blocker off for YouTube. That is very much appreciated as well. That you put up with a minor inconvenience so that I can actually, pay bills and keep doing this. So all of this has to be protected as well. I basically have, it's not enough. I basically, just to go away for 1 day, mind you, I'll be back doing this on Sunday. To go away for 1 day, I have to make sure the entire store is priced out. I have to make sure everything is organized the way it's supposed to be in the front of the store, behind the counter, and in the back of the store. I got to make sure all the new product that came in is properly priced out and ready. I have to make sure that it's cleaned up, and I'm not going to get any complaints when I get back. I got to make sure all my toys are out of the way and out of the shop so they don't accidentally sell, and I got to make sure my entire studio setup is packed away safely. This is so I can take 1 day off. If you ever wonder how much a manager becomes part of the toy store like this, that's how much. Like, that is how much I have to do just to leave for a little bit. It's worth doing it, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's basically like packing up, you know, it's basically like packing up this mini version of my life, just so I can leave for one day, right? George Carlin put it away, like your home is a place for your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. You know, and sometimes you go to some other place and you take some of your stuff, so you have a miniature version of your stuff at your new place. And that's what this is. This is a mini place for my stuff. And it's very much me, and the whole store becomes me as a result. So, like, I have to make sure all of this is squared away just so I can take a quick break. And then there is the fun part of, it's really the owner who has enough knowledge going on to actually be able to handle things while the shop is left without me. But the owner's wife, not as much. You know, this is not quite her thing. So I have to make sure my phone is on at all times. So, you know, even if I'm trouncing around in a toy shop, I still have to make sure my phone is ready just in case, because at any moment I could get a photo saying, how much is this? Or I can get a picture of a lot going, what is this and how much is it worth? If someone brings something in to buy or to sell to us. And just generally, like, it's a bad thing. Like, when the owners of a shop, like when you're a manager of a shop like this, the owners are pretty much hands off. They kind of let you run things as is, and they will make sure that you're equipped to do it. But for the most part, you're on your own. So when someone else has to handle it, they don't know where things are. They don't know the procedures. They don't know, like, all this. It basically means that even when I'm off work, I'm still at work, because I will have to make sure the work is monitored from afar. That's the manager part of being the manager. So even though I'm taking a vacation, even though I'm technically taking a day off, I was going to call it a vacation because there's a road trip involved, but no, it's a day off. But even though I'm taking a day off, I'm still not leaving this job. That is how much I have, like, this store becomes a part of you when you are the sole person in charge of it. You know, and it's weird to think of an entire building and this, like, massive inventory as an extension of you, but it really is. Like, even if this stuff is not mine, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I made the call to bring it into the store. I'm the one who's organized it. I'm the one who's priced it out. Like, it is me in some weird like adoption system that this store technically is. So that is my curse. That is the curse of being the manager. It's all me. So when someone else is in charge of what is me, I still have to be in charge of it even when I'm not here. And I have to make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible without me, so me is still me when me come back. Somewhere in there, I think I made my point. So if you ever wondered what it is like to get a day off from a shop like this, when you are the sole person in charge, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. A lot more than a normal situation where you go, can you just take, you want to take my days this week? Sure, fine, okay. No problem. Like, okay, I'm you know, if I'm working at Walmart or Target or something, like, can you handle my shift? Can someone just else handle my shift while I take a day off? I can't do that. I can't do that. There's no one there. You want my shift? Talking to nobody. Doesn't work. So this is how it goes. So this is another one of those stories of, like, things you don't think about. You know, like little trouble that comes up in a shop like this that you don't really think about. So, but, like, this is the point of the story. This is the point of the series. I want you guys to know all the facets that come with managing a shop like this, because it's not like any other job you could have. So this is where you get your first-hand experience from. And yeah, I'm going to turn this camera off now, and then I'm going to pack the camera up and hide it in the back room so nothing happens to it, just so I can take one day away from the store. Because that's what I have to do just to feel like I can leave without anything going wrong. And that's the toy store life.
Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.